Life is an optical illusion. What you see is based on your beliefs. You change your beliefs, you get a different reality. My job as a self-help author or spiritual teacher is to help people awaken. When I was homeless, I didn't have the money for a bus. I didn't have 60 cents. My wake-up came when I realized that I was struggling because of a belief system I had that I didn't know I had. When I looked out into the world, I saw scarcity. Today, I have evidence for abundance. The movie was introducing this idea, whatever you focus on is what you're going to tend to bring into your life. Most people think about the things they're afraid of. All of these kinds of negative thoughts keep people shut down. They don't go for their dreams. What the law of attraction is teaching people is that you have a choice, but it all begins on the inside. Take 5 action steps every single day in the direction of your dreams. You don't get that much done just by sitting and wishing for it. Train your mind to see the good in every situation. You are going to have successes that are unimaginably huge. You gotta trust.
They say that the human race is doomed, that we have lost touch with our true nature, that the media has corrupted us, and that the planet has no future. I disagree. I believe that humanity is full of hope, and that our salvation lies within each one of us. My name is Brian Rose, and my job is to listen, the oldest method of learning known to man. Each week I seek out individuals that are changing the world, people who are living and thinking in a different way. Their stories will challenge your beliefs, make you question your choices, and perhaps inspire you to change. I never planned on doing any of this, but now I can't stop. Join me on this mission and make humanity something we can all be proud of.
It's time for you to man up, to once and for all, tell your mind who the fuck is boss. I need a fucking answer. What's it gonna be? I don't know what it is about this fucking sport, but it attracts people that really need to do deep work on themselves.
I failed in this city. All these bad memories. I never really felt like I gave a fuck about me or my life. I almost killed myself, like.
Think about something that is going to drive you when it really hurts. Some kind of demon you want to fight.
This is not Pussy Man, this is Iron Man. Under pressure reveals true character. What are you gonna do? You're gonna be in Chattanooga, May 20th or what?
What can I say? Dr. Joe just has some pretty amazing energy. He's like that uncle that you always wish you had. And he's an author and spiritual teacher made famous by that movie, The Secret, that we all watched about 10 years ago that was all about the law of attraction. And Joe is all for that, but he's also about taking action. And that's what I especially like about him. But I think he's got great ideas about how to put yourself and your brain into this abundance mentality so things flow to you. And I know you're gonna enjoy my talk with Joe. And I also know you're gonna enjoy broadcasting yourself, which is what I'm teaching over the next 8 weeks, how to start your own podcast, the way I did with London Real, but how to produce quality content. That's where most people get it wrong. I've got 8 weeks, 8 modules that get you all the way there. You will have 8 episodes published on iTunes at the very end. It will change the course of your life. And here's a little bit more about what we do inside the Academy.
London Real doesn't stop when the conversation ends. You see, that's when we get started. Because everything begins with a thought, and then comes the action. The London Real Academy is our global transformation platform. Here we bring together thousands of students from over 75 countries. Whether you want to build a profitable business from your passion, or learn to speak to inspire, or broadcast yourself with your very own podcast, or accelerate your life to become a high-performance person, we have the online accountability course and personal mentoring program that will make your dream a reality. Join us, and we'll take your life to the next level, together. Our next accelerator course is starting soon.
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Dr. Joe Vitale, the spiritual teacher and author known for your appearance in the hit movie The Secret. You've written 70 books that include the bestsellers The Attraction and Zero Limits, which dives into the Hawaiian practice for wealth, health, and peace. You're best known for your ideas on the laws of attraction, abundance mentality, and hypnotic language. Joe, welcome to London Real.
Hey, this is a thrill to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You know, it's great having you here. What's it like being in London for the first time, coming from Texas? What are your thoughts of this place and, what's going on here?
I love London. Absolutely love it. I've never been here before. Only been here for a couple days, unfortunately leaving tomorrow. But I plan to come back because there's so much to see, so much to do, so much to eat, so much to shop, so much to learn, the history and everything else, that I'm actually blown away, impressed, inspired, informed. I can't wait to come back. I already forgot what your question was, but I think it was something like, what do I think of London?
Yeah.
I love it.
They love it. And right now you're in Austin. Why, I know you've lived all, different parts of the country. Why Austin for you? Is it a place that has got the right vibrations for you, or what's going on there?
Well, the joke is, I tell people I live outside of Austin because that's where my house is. So.
That's a good answer.
Partly for the climate, which sounds a little weird because it's 170 degrees Fahrenheit there and a 100% humidity, and you say London has a heat wave going on. To me, it's kind of like a relaxed cool front that's happening in London compared to Texas. But I was born and raised in Ohio, which is up in the Midwest. And so you go through winters, you go through freezes, you go through cold fronts and all of that. I didn't like it. So I moved to a warmer climate. Lived in Houston for 20 some years and outside of Austin, and been in where I'm at now for 18 years. So it's home.
Yeah, it's home. I want to talk about your books. I want to talk about, some of these Hawaiian ideas, because I think they're really interesting. Maybe even some of your music and some of your strongman stuff too.
A lot of things to cover.
A lot of things. But, maybe we should start off with that movie from 12 years ago. And a lot of people know that the movie The Secret. I remember watching it. I thought it was kind of pre-internet, but I guess it wasn't. But it was the time when you couldn't necessarily watch it on YouTube, and yet it still kind of went viral in a way. And a lot of people watched it, a lot of people got behind it. And I was wondering, looking back 12 years, what you think what that phenomenon was at that point. Was it the first time the world had kind of got exposed to a lot of the ideas? And what do you make of it? And what was your part in it?
Good Lord, that's a lot of questions.
I know, right?
About something that is a historic milestone in movie making.
Yeah, maybe describe the movie first, because some people might not know it.
Oh, if you haven't seen the movie, if somebody hasn't seen the movie, please go watch. It's everywhere. It's on Netflix, it's on Amazon, you can buy it, it's in hotel rooms. I think the website's thesecret.tv, so it's still there. Boy, the movie came out in 2006. Most of it was filmed in 2005, and I was one of the lucky ones to be filmed for it, and I was invited because I wrote a book called The Attractor Factor about the law of attraction. The director, who lived in Australia, found me, called me, and said, hey, I want to make a movie about the law of attraction. I'd like you to be in it. And I just thought she was a flake. I didn't think she was going to actually do anything. And I said, sure, if you get the money and you pull it together, give me a call. She did. And she made history. I think the reason that the thing took off so well is there's 2 or 3 reasons that I've been able to think about over the last 12 years. One is it was the first public, media-friendly introduction to what could be called mind power. It was about the law of attraction, which is about whatever you focus on is what you're going to pull into your life. So the movie was introducing this idea to the masses. It wasn't new to anybody who reads books. The law of attraction is in books from the 1800s. I have rare copies of books from the 1900s. It's in there. But it wasn't on something people could watch on their computer or watch on their television. So I think that's the first reason it was a big hit. The second one is the marketing behind it was genius. For one thing, she had 24 teachers in that movie besides me. Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, John Asseroff, Lisa Nichols, a whole long line of people. Every one of those people has a mailing list. Every one of those people has a following. So when we all were told you can now tell the world about your movie, I was the very first person who told my mailing list, hey, I'm in a movie, it's called The Secret. Jack does this, John does this, Lisa does this, Bob does this. And suddenly there's free marketing going on, free advertising, because the people in the movie are telling their followers about the movie. So the followers all go to watch the movie. The other thing that was going on is that she brilliantly teased people for 6 months before releasing the movie. So she sent out teasers, little movie clips, little previews, little insights about what was coming, but she didn't release the movie for 6 months. Now, I'm Mr. Impatient. If I had a movie done that I believed in, I'd release it this afternoon. I'd tell you, the movie's done, tell your followers to go watch it this afternoon. But she held back, and she just paced out that enthusiasm. By the time the movie was released, she had a mailing list built of people ready to see it. And then, of course, when the movie came out, so many people saw it that were in power positions. I ended up on Larry King Live twice, not because of Larry King, but because of the women who put on his show. They saw The Secret. They said, oh, we have to tell the world. We got to get Larry to do a show on The Secret. Larry could care less about The Secret. But those women got people like me, John, Jack, and a bunch of other people to go on. Oprah did the same thing. Oprah basically did an infomercial on The Secret and did 3 shows. I can go on and on. Go watch The Secret. If somebody hasn't seen it, go watch it, thesecret.tv.
Right. And what was that underlying message that people walked away with after watching The Secret?
That you can have, do, or be anything you want if you controlled your mind. It was about the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is basically saying whatever you focus on with energy and repetition is what you're going to tend to bring into your life. And so the movie was an introduction to that idea. And I'm specifically using the word introduction because so many people over the years criticized the movie. And they said the movie just promoted wishful thinking, magical thinking. It just said, hey, if you sit in a chair and visualize a bike or a car, a doorbell's got a ring, and there's your bike or your car.
Right, that was the criticism of the movie.
That was the criticism.
All you had to do was think of something and not move or do any action, and it would just appear.
And I would criticize the movie for that as well. I am a massive take action guy. I've written 76 books. You don't get those kind of things written by sitting and imagining a book written. You have to actually get in front of the computer, get on the keyboard, and start writing. I'm a musician. I have 15 albums done at this point, recorded and being sold. You don't get that much material done just by sitting and wishing for it. So I tell people the movie is an introduction to an idea. It's a frickin' movie. It's not the be-all and end-all to self-help. It doesn't tell you everything you need to know. And I also tell the people who are criticizing the movie, who say it doesn't talk about taking action, I'm in the movie saying you have to take action. People blur over that part. You know, they kind of let it block out of their mind. But I defend the movie, whether I was in it or not. I would still say, go watch that movie. It's an inspiring movie. It gives you a clue how to use your mind to go in the direction of what you would prefer to get more of the results that you would like to have.
Right, so that idea itself was presented in a powerful way, a pretty revolutionary idea for anybody who wasn't reading these books, which is most of the world. But if anything, it probably didn't emphasize the action enough because it couldn't. It was a movie about this one thing.
That's exactly right.
And so that's what critics later said, oh, you can't just think of it and it'll happen. But it did change people's thoughts when it came to law of attraction and kind of mindset.
Oh, it gave I want to say millions, but I actually don't know the figures. The movie is still selling like crazy, being viewed like crazy around the world. I've gone to countries I didn't even know existed where they saw the movie The Secret and they want one of the Secret teachers to come in and talk about these principles. I've always said Rhonda, the director of the movie, should have done a volume 2. She actually had enough footage from everybody she filmed for the first one that she didn't have to film anybody else. She just had to edit it. And I was on Larry King the second time, and I announced that there's going to be part 2, because Rhonda let me believe that there was going to be one. And that would have been more about action. But I think action is the missing step. Again, I still promote, protect the movie because I think it's fantastic.
Okay. What can people know right now or learn from you right now about this concept of this law of attraction, as far as what you think about and what you really concentrate ends up what you bring into your life. I mean, what are some basic elements of that? Because I've heard you talk about this in detail, but I still think most people don't know how to actually practice it.
Yeah. The very first step is you have to become aware of your current thinking. Most people don't realize that their thoughts are in the toilet, that they're listening and to themselves say negative things about 70,000 times a day.
70,000.
70,000. There are some research studies that are showing it's higher than that. And the other thing that's more startling is that they're mostly repetition. They're the same thoughts. There are things like, I'm not good enough, it's not going to work out, this stuff works for other people, works for Joe Vitale, but it doesn't work for me, works for the people in the secret, but it doesn't work for me. They want to do things, but they think the economy's wrong, the president's wrong, the timing is wrong, I don't have enough education, I don't have enough experience. All of these kinds of negative thoughts keep people shut down. They don't go for their dreams. They react to life, they kind of crawl through life with no enthusiasm, no sort of energy, and no belief in themselves or the possibilities of something better. What the law of attraction is teaching people is that you have a choice. You can change your thinking. One way to look at this is the thoughts you're having right now are primarily negative. So that's the first thing to notice. Your thoughts are primarily negative. The second one is you're not your thoughts. You are separate from your thoughts. And this is massive, earth-shaking news if somebody's hearing it for the very first time. There have been books that are called You Are Not Your Mind, You Are Not Your Brain. And what they're saying is these thoughts that we're having them. We're not them. If we can detach enough to go, oh, here comes that I'm not good enough thought again, and let it go by, we are one step removed from it. Now we've clipped off that energy that was causing us to feel bad because of that thought. So that's the second step, is to become aware that I'm not my thoughts. Third step is to start to generate what you do want to think. And this is where things like affirmations, positive thinking, positive statements, instead of saying I'm not good enough, begin to say I am good enough. Begin to say this can work out for me. If this material has worked for other people, why can't it work for me too? You know, I'm human, they're human, and you can start to rebuild your software of the mind, if you want, if you will. And these are all elements. And then there's, we can get into details like what you're going to tend to bring into your life are things that you think about a lot. Most people think about the things they're afraid of, the things that they're worried about. I tell people, why don't you start thinking about the things you love, the things you're passionate about. You're going to go in a new direction. You'll be happier. You'll be healthier. You're going to have better momentum, better enthusiasm. So the repetition of that is going to be a big thing. Emotion, going with those feelings of passion, is going to fuel you to go in a direction that you prefer. And actually having an image. And the image could be a graphical representation of what you want. It could be a house, it could be a car, it could be a job, it could be a pile of money, it could be spiritual awakening, whatever you can do. Because the brain, the reticular activating system in the brain, responds to repetition, imagery, and emotion. So all of this is in the direction of, it's like a condensed course on how to redirect your life, but becoming aware that you're not your thoughts, those negative thoughts, you can let them go. You can start to create new thoughts. You can actually aim where you want to go by choosing what you want, getting an image of what you want, fueling it with passion and love, and then you can start to create it almost organically and automatically.
And why as humans do we tend not to do that? Where does this negativity come from? Is it an old survival instinct?
That is exactly. You don't even need me to answer these questions. No. You already know. It is an old survival instinct. What we're on alert for, we're hardwired for it. We're on alert for danger. We're on alert for anything that can stop us from breathing, from living. And so our reticular activating system, that part of our brain in the back of our head at the top of the spine, is already hardwired to be on alert for anything that is a threat to you, your loved ones, your life, and all of this. And so negativity and fear and worry are all things programmed to alert you that that could be dangerous. And that's fine. Our reticular activating system and our survival is working. You're here. I'm here. Your viewers are here. We can applaud that part of our system that is working. It is keeping us surviving. But what I and the other teachers are saying is that you can program it for other things. You can program it for what you want. So if you do want more wealth, or you want the romance, or you want the health, or you want the house, or the job, or a spiritual awakening, or fill in the blank, you follow the same principles that have been used to keep you surviving, but you use it for these things that you would like to have, do, or be in your life.
Okay. Talk to me about imagery, because this is interesting. So if I want something, I need to actually conjure up and create an image like a vision board, or just have something in my mind I'm associating with that future outcome?
Well, it's both. And what I look for is some sort of, I call it a graphical representation of what you want. And a vision board is a very popular way of doing it, because a vision board is pretty much like a big poster board, and people have cut out pictures of what they want. So I had a ride over here in a Mercedes. So if I wanted a Mercedes, I might go on Google and conjure up a bunch of different, search for a bunch of different images, find one that really makes me excited, print it, cut it out, and put it on the vision board. And if there was a particular house, like you lived in San Diego at one point, there's some wonderful mansions and old style Mediterranean homes near the water. And if I wanted one of those, I'd find some sort of image of it, cut it out, and put it on the vision board. The idea is I don't want to just think it. I need to communicate to my subconscious mind that this is my next desire. And so if I can see the image of it and see it a lot, that's the repetition part of it, I will be communicating to my mind that this is what I would like to attract into my life. And so vision boards are very popular, and I tell people your vision board can be on your phone, it can be on your refrigerator, it can be something that's on your dashboard, it can be something that's by your bathroom, bedroom mirror, any number of these. You want to see it, you want to stumble across it. So it's not just thinking about it, because your mind can just go off in a different direction and bring you a different image. You need to be reminded of it. You want to put that up there and say, there's that house, there's that car, there's that bank account, whatever it happens to be.
Okay. And should I have different images for different parts of my goals, like a house maybe, or certain thing in my business, or certain thing for my relationships, or my body, or?
Yeah, that is a great question. There's mixed information on that. My own view is focus on one thing at a time. If you focus on one thing at a time, you are a missile targeted and sending a powerful signal right into your subconscious mind. There's no confusion. It's like, I want this car. That's it. I don't think there's anything wrong with having like a master vision board, and all the different things you were just referring to are there. So there could be the romance in the house and a boat and whatever it happens to be. Could be all on there. But I think it's wiser and more powerful, more effective, more efficient, and accelerated to pick one thing at a time. When I reflect over my own life and my greatest accomplishments, I believe they came when I was really focused. When I said, I'm writing this book, or I'm recording this music, or I'm going after this car, or I want this kind of awakening, and that was the primary focus, I would get it fast. But if I have too many things up there, it feels like it's a little diluted.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there something wrong with having a material possession as a goal? You know,
I love that question. Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. My view is we are spiritual beings in physical bodies on the material plane to enjoy the bounty that is here. We are enjoying it as spiritual beings. I think the problem is when you get attached to it. For example, I love old cars, and I have a handful of them, but I'm not trying to create the largest car collection in the world. If I was, I would probably be coming from ego. But if I come from the sense of, you know, this car really makes me feel fantastic, and I have this car, like I have a Spiker, which is a handmade car from Holland, very rare in Texas. But I absolutely am thrilled by that car. And that's what's important, is that my body sense, my mind, my energy, and everything is going, this is almost like a spiritual experience to drive a Spiker. But if I wanted to have every Spiker ever made, or have more cars than Jay Leno or some of the people that are known for their car collections out there, I'd probably be coming from ego. So I think there's some discernment that we need to be aware of. Is like, why do we want something? I do want us to want it because it makes us feel good, that there's a feeling, a higher energy that comes from possessing something. But I don't want the item to possess me. That's the difference. You know, I want to experience it and enjoy it. For example, at one point I had 11 cars. And I realized I can't keep up with 11 cars. I can't drive 11 cars. I don't have mechanics on hand to take care of 11 cars. I started giving them away. I knew friends that wanted certain cars, and I said, here's the keys. Here you go. That feeling alone was priceless. I mean, I was homeless at one point. To be able to go, here's a car, and that was a BMW. It was a beautiful, immaculate car. And go, here, have it. And I've done that with other people. I just bought my sister a car because she needed it and she was struggling and she wanted something in particular. I was able to do it. So I think having these things, sharing these things is part of the spiritual experience within our physical material bodies. We just don't want to be caught up or addicted or attached to it.
That's interesting. So I could see 10 different guys with 10 different Ferraris, and they each might have a different spiritual relationship with that piece of material.
Absolutely.
And some could be productive and positive, and some could be potentially negative and destructive.
Well, and it's a very individual thing. And that's the other thing. We cannot judge other people. You don't know why I have a car. You don't know why I have a spiker. I'm telling you it's for a spiritual reason, but you can easily sit on the outside of me and go, oh, you just got that because it's rare and you want to strut around in something that's unique. Well, you don't know that because you're not inside of me. You don't know what my motivation is. You don't know what my purity is. You don't know what my spirituality is. And that's why we can't judge other people. We don't have a clue what their connection to the universe is all about.
Okay, but don't just reject material possessions.
No.
Okay, and even nice ones, you can have them.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to have it because we're in a physical world.
Yeah, and I've often joked, Buddha never saw a Rolls Royce. I imagine that he would probably really like it.
He just never had the opportunity.
He never had the opportunity to be in such a divine car.
Okay, so if I put the London Real corporate jet on my vision board,
Yeah.
and one day I get it, if I have a good positive relationship with that jet, as in that enables me to travel the world and take the messages of people and boost it out to the world, and it shows everyone that we're going places and that this is what you can do through positive thinking.
Yes.
That's a very good use of something highly material.
That is the best use of it. That is absolutely, in fact, I tell people the biggest reason to be independently wealthy is for how you can fulfill your mission on the planet. And for you to have a jet and be able to travel around or take care of your guests, or the next time you want me, you fly me from America over here.
There you go.
I mean, you're fulfilling your mission. You're fulfilling your divine calling. You're fulfilling whatever it is that you're feeling is your vision for a complete life. And so I think at that point, that is beautiful. What a fantastic reason to have wealth or to have jet. It's a difference you can make in people's lives.
It's such a fascinating concept, Joe, because a lot of people in the quote-unquote spiritual world, they have this real dysfunctional relationship with money and possessions. And
absolutely.
I have students inside of our academy, and I teach them, how to build businesses and how to start and build brands from their own self. And a lot of times that's the hard thing. And I usually say to them, look, the money allows you to scale your message and help more people. As soon as they see it, then the whole concept of quote-unquote sales becomes more interesting. All of it becomes a means to a greater end of a greater good.
Yeah.
But a lot of people see money as this bad thing, dirty thing. But it doesn't have to be, does it?
Not at all. In fact, I wrote a whole book called Attract Money Now.
Right.
I give it away. I mean, anybody watching this can go to attractmoneynow.com. The book is free. And there's 7 steps in there for attracting more money. And the very first one is along the lines of what we're talking about. Because the very first one is about our beliefs about money, and our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about deservingness. Because what I have found is that the spiritually snobby people who put down money and take a vow of poverty and so forth don't realize that unconsciously they bought into a limiting belief. And it's a belief I talk about in the book, Attract Money Now. And that belief, I can begin it, and everybody watching this show is going to finish it. Money is the root of all, I don't have to say evil, everybody said it. So let's go a little deeper and look at the law of attraction as it pertains to money. If somebody says, I want money for my business, that's a good reason to have money. But if they unconsciously think money is evil, they're not going to allow that money to come in. Why would you want anything evil in your life? You will not allow money to come in as long as you think it's bad, it's evil, it's going to corrupt you, it'll corrupt other people, it's tainted in some way. This is an unconscious belief that virtually everybody has. So the first thing I do to help people with this, and I want to help your viewers right now with this, is to realize that is a shortened biblical phrase. The longer phrase is, the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. Well, first of all, that's from biblical literature, so we don't know actually what was really said. It's been translated and retranslated, and we end up with this phrase, which may or may not be actually what was written down. But let's look at it even deeper than that. The wealthy people I know, including myself, the healthy, wealthy people I know, are not in love with money. They appreciate money, they use money, they leverage money, but they're not in love with money. That is a huge, massive difference. As soon as somebody realizes, oh, money is actually just a means of exchange that we've agreed on. We don't have to give goat skins in exchange for, milk or something at this point. The old barter system, now we have something called money. Well, it's not bad. It's not evil. It's paper. It's coin. It's nothing. It's a symbol for energy. And so I tell people that when you realize money is neutral, that you don't fall in love with it, but you use it. And what do you use it for? What you were just talking about, to fulfill your dreams, to build your business, to make something of service to people. Money enables you to do all of these different things. There was an author, Arnold Patton, who said this wonderful quote. I wish I had originated this quote. It's so good. But I always give him credit and I always repeat it. The sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. The sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. When I first heard it, I thought, well, there's bound to be an exception to that. And then I started thinking, well, when I pay any bill, it's for something I wanted. I bought a guitar here in London. It's like I wrote a check. I'm really grateful to have that guitar. I bought some cigars, I told you earlier, here in London. I wrote my check. Very grateful to have those cigars. When I pay my internet bill or I pay a car payment or I buy whatever it happens to be, I say thank you, because the sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. This is an entirely new attitude that I invite people to take on. Because if they drop, change that. When they drop that money is evil, they can allow money to come in.
Right.
When they think that money is a tool for appreciation, now there's a sense of love and gratitude around it. But you don't love money, you use money. These are all big topics, but...
And just that simple dialogue, like you could be in your business right now, in your office, and if you could just change that dialogue with your brain and really truly believe it, that it's no longer evil and dirty, it really would change the course of your business in your life.
Absolutely.
Right? This is back to getting a little secret-ish, is
Right.
that really thinking of it different, but what it will do is it'll affect all of the behaviors of other people and your business, right?
Absolutely. But it all begins with you, and it all begins inside of you, and it all begins with your mind, and it all begins with your unconscious mind. Is that what you pull into your life is what you are unconsciously thinking and feeling. So you can sit in your chair and visualize great wealth, and you can say, I'm going to have great wealth, and do all the affirmations consciously. But if unconsciously you think money's bad or money's evil, you're not going to bring it into your life. Or if you do bring some money, you will sabotage it and you'll get rid of it quick. This is why many lottery, I don't know what it's like in London, but over in the States, people win lotteries and they're broke. A year later, they win millions of dollars, and it seems preposterous that they'd be broke, but they've lost all the money. Why? Unconsciously, they still had beliefs that money are bad. So part of my teaching and what I wrote in the book, Attract Money Now, is giving people the awakening. Because just getting aware is going to take them down the road. Becoming aware that money's not bad, money's not evil, that you can use it to extend your dream and fulfill your life mission, opens them up to the idea that, oh, money is okay, I can allow money in. From there, they will then start seeing opportunities that were there all along, but they didn't see them because they had blind spots. Now the unconscious is opened up. It will allow the material to come into the conscious mind. Conscious mind will see the opportunities, and then the person who's having this experience, the leader of the company, the CEO, can then tell everybody around them, here's what we're going to do next. But it all begins on the inside.
Okay, so by consciously making these things aware, hopefully your subconscious will be will kind of lag behind, but also come into the fray. And you'll hopefully change your subconscious by actively, thinking about these things.
Right, and I would delete the word hopefully, because this is actually what happens scientifically, is that when you release that belief, the subconscious mind immediately accepts it. The subconscious mind is only operating from previous programming. And the previous programming from virtually everybody is about lack and limitation, fear, worry, survival. Naturally so. That we're just trying to live here on the planet. But what I and other people are saying is, look, you can not only survive, you can thrive. You can prosper. You can have an exhilarating life. You just have to do a little work. And the little work is about looking at your beliefs, because my rule of thumb is you change your beliefs, you get a different reality.
Is this abundance mentality? And can you talk a little bit about that? Because again, the natural human default is the scarcity mentality.
Right.
Because back in the day, we were running around trying to survive.
Yeah.
Kind of that other default pop. How do you really get that abundance thought into your mind? Is that something that you talk about?
I absolutely do. I love the question. You're good at this. You should have your own show.
I know, right?
You're right.
I'm going to call it London Reel.
And then get your own jet. That's what I want to see
That's
next.
going on the vision board.
So what I'm looking at here is the whole idea that you're getting your own reality. You are creating your own reality from your beliefs. You change your beliefs and you will get a different reality. Life is an optical illusion. This is how I look at it. Life is an optical illusion. What you see is based on your beliefs. When I was homeless and I was in poverty for 10 years, when I looked out into the world, I did not see abundance. I saw lack, I saw darkness, I saw scarcity, and I can find evidence for it. I can look around and go, I went to these people down this street and asked every one of them for a job, and every one of them said no. I was trying to be an author, and I can show you all the rejection slips. I had my evidence that life sucks, and life is full of limitation, and life is full of scarcity. I had all of the evidence. Today, I have evidence for abundance. I can look around and say, hey, I'm living the lifestyle of the rich and famous. I get to go to London and go on a fantastic TV show at the last minute. What kind of fantastic, miraculous life is this? And I can look around and I can find all the evidence for abundance, which is real. They're both real. Depending on my mindset, I will see one or I will see the other. For most people, they're going to see lack and limitation, partly because it's already been programmed in them, partly because they're paying attention to the mainstream media. And I tell people, a big tip, turn off the mainstream media.
And why do you say that?
Because it is programming you. It's called programming you for a reason. It's programming you for lack and limitation. It knows your hot buttons. It knows what you're afraid of. It is going to focus on that. It is going to highlight that. And if mainstream news can't find something bad that happened today in London, it'll go find it in Texas and say, hey, in Texas today somebody was murdered. And they're going to put that right there in front of you to make you afraid. And then it's going to be holding your attention to tell you whatever the commercial is that's coming next. So when I say turn off the mainstream news, it is not programming you for prosperity. You are, and what you're doing here. And I tell people, select the information. You're feeding your brain, you're feeding your soul, you're feeding your unconscious, subconscious mind. Select it with some sort of wisdom and discernment, so you program yourself for this abundant life. So they both exist. You have to have the awareness that when you were growing up, and I don't mean you in particular, your parents probably did not have an abundant attitude. I tell people your parents probably were not enlightened. They were probably not Mr. and Mrs. Buddha. They probably had their own hang-ups, their own programming, their own lack, their own limitation. They downloaded it to you. You were a kid. You didn't know any better. Then you go into the culture, you go into the media, you go into the education system, and it's not programming you for survival. It's programming you for survival. It's not programming you for thriving, for excelling. And so at some point, if you're lucky, you see a movie like The Secret, you read a book maybe by me or one of the other authors out there, you see a show like this, and suddenly there's an aha. Suddenly you awaken and you go, oh, maybe life can be different. Maybe I don't have to see lack everywhere. Maybe I can see abundance. So to me, there's an optical illusion. They're both available. You get to choose.
And how can I practice that state of abundance? Is that through an affirmations?
Yeah, I love that question. I can talk to you forever.
A few basic ways, because also a A lot of people watching us will say, Joe, Brian, if I look at a street and someone else looks at a street, it's the same street, it's the same people, it's the same. A lot of people will not understand that actually they'll pull all of these cultural dialogues, personal dialogues, and they'll see the things they want to see to continue that scarcity mentality.
That's right. They're going to see it unconsciously. It's going to be coming from the paradigm they already have, the mindset they already have, which is in their subconscious / unconscious. So when they look, they're looking consciously, not realizing what they're seeing is being filtered by the unconscious. So when you change that bottom line programming, what's underneath the software, you're going to see something different. So here's the best technique. It's a technique that comes from 1900, from the book Pollyanna. It's called Play the Glad Game. And the glad game is you look for something good. Just start looking for something good. The rule of thumb is there is something good in everybody and in every situation. And there are some people and some situations that will challenge you. But you've got to focus, you got to look, and you got to say there's something good here. I bought a painting a long time ago that had a phrase on it. It said, train your mind to see the good in every situation. And I bought it because of the phrase, train your mind. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where you're not your thoughts. You're separate from them. And so the phrase, train your mind, is acting as if it's a puppy. Train your puppy to use the litter box. Train your cat to tell you when it wants fed. Train your mind to see the good in every situation. The first times you do this, yeah, it might be a struggle. It might feel like, oh, this is really difficult. But if you stay with it, you're going to start seeing the good everywhere. That's a simple, easy, doesn't cost anything, begin it right now, way of using a technique to start to move into abundance.
Yeah, because we're constantly at war with our own brains, right? We're constantly having to check it, to understand that what we see is not real, to know that the thoughts aren't real, and that the more you can kind of be separated from that chatter and recognize the things that are quote unquote right or wrong that you want to invest in, the better.
Yeah, but I would change one thing if you don't mind.
Please.
I wouldn't say we're at war with our brains. I would say let's make love to our brains. Let's seduce our brains. Let's have this better relationship with our brains. And this is a very spiritual concept, because what I'm talking about here, if you're not your brain and you're not your thoughts and you're not your emotions and you're not even your physical body, you are this spiritual witness within that's observing all of it. This is actually my biggest message for the world. I keep saying that we are spiritual beings, that what we want is really right here in this moment. When we think too much about the past, we think too much about the future, we've missed the miracle of right now. And right now is all we have. This is it. This is the miracle right now. You, me, the people watching, this is it. And out of this, we can create even more miracles, but we've got to stay in this moment with awareness, with gratitude, with love, looking for the good in this moment, really appreciating the fact that, yeah, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my body, I'm the spiritual being within it. I'm the spiritual soul, and within you, it's the same thing. And everybody that's watching, it's the same thing. Behind your thoughts, behind your emotions, behind your body is this witness looking out through your eyes. That witness that's in you, it's the same witness in me. We're meeting right here.
And that is the commonality of humanity.
Absolutely.
Each one of us is the same spiritual witness.
That's it.
But we're all in different bodies,
Yeah.
with different programs, with different this.
Yeah.
But that's that connection.
That is absolutely it. At the deepest core level, if you want to go beyond the secret and beyond the law of attraction and go into what could be called enlightenment or a Satori experience, is the realization that underneath all of this is this spiritual person. And yeah, it's covered up. We got this flesh, bones, and all of this. We got the software of our mind that's acting as a filtering system, so we're looking out through it. But if we can remove all of that even for an instant, the freedom.
And I think people in their lives, no matter what their backgrounds are, no matter how much scarcity they're living in or negative self-talk, I think everyone has a few moments in their lives where they see that and they feel that. And maybe it's at the birth of a child, or maybe when someone wins the World Cup, or maybe, and then they feel it, and then they know something special happened, or they observe something, and then they kind of go back.
Right.
But it's something I see in a lot of my guests, and I do see it sometimes where someone will say, you know what, I think we're all one here. I think there's some type of of connection that we're all having here, and I hear it come out sometimes from my guests. And
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It's incredible to see, and I must see the people that have done a lot of the work you're talking about, they get more experiences of that, you know, that spiritual witness. Whereas if you don't, I think it's harder to see sometimes.
Well, I think part of what our duty is to make time for that. So in other words, we're all distracted. We're looking at our iPhones, we're looking at our computers, we're doing our errands, whatever it happens to be. We're amazingly distracted. But we need to make time for that connection.